All right, so you and I, we each separately ranked how the rookie first-round QBs performed last weekend. We put the numbers into the old adding machine, and it spit out the official with the first pick rookie quarterback power rankings. You can see those here. At the top, Caleb Williams. Number 2, Bo Nix. And I have some thoughts about this. And I should note, our buddy Mike Renner couldn't join us today, but he did give us his rankings for the quarterbacks as well. And you and Mike helped bumped up Bo Nix's status here in this graphic. Number 3, Drake Maye. They finally let him play, and he played really well. And then Jaden Daniels is number 4. And it's a pretty good list when Jaden Daniels is number 4. 2 names you won't note here. J.J. McCarthy, of course, he's battling from returning from the knee surgery he had. His season's done, unfortunately. And then, of course, Michael Penix Jr., the number 8 overall pick for the Atlanta Falcons. Played in week 1 of the preseason, didn't play in week 2. So before we get going on the actual list there, Rick, I wanted to ask you, as a former GM, how do you make sense of the Falcons' decision not to play Michael Penix Jr. in week 2? And Raheem Morris said, the head coach, he's not playing in preseason week 3 either.
Yeah, I don't know, because he's not going to be the starting quarterback. And maybe it spooked him when J.J. McCarthy went down and Minnesota lost to him to a season-ending knee injury. But I don't understand it, because it's an opportunity for him to play in some preseason games. Now, I understand they've had some combined practices. I'm sure he got a lot of reps, especially with Kirk Cousins not being able to go full go with the Achilles. But I would say any rookie quarterback, if they get an opportunity to go out there and compete in the preseason, give them that opportunity, because after this third preseason game, guess what? You're not getting first-team reps. Maybe 2 during practice per each period. More than likely, you're just going to be running scout team cards. So put him out there, let him continue to grow and learn. He did a lot of positive things when you broke down the first week of the preseason, but there are also a lot of things that he does need to work on, the footwork, the getting the ball out on time, especially coming off a play-action pass. So I think it would have benefited him as he moves forward in his career as far as development goes by him being able to play.
Right, and you see the graphic there if you're watching us on CBS Sports Network, that how productive he was at Washington. And he's also older. He's 24 years old. He's not like J.J. McCarthy or Drake Maye at 21 years old. But there's no substitute for reps, especially in the preseason when, like you said, Rick, you're not going to get those reps during the regular season unless, God forbid, someone gets hurt. Related to that, and we talked about this a lot last season with the 2023 rookie class, Bryce Young, year 2 in Carolina, new coach, new GM. He hasn't played a snap in the preseason, and Dave Canales, the new head coach, said he's not going to play a snap. For someone coming off as tough a year as that was rookie-wise for him, maybe he needs the snaps more than Michael Penix Jr., it feels like.
Yeah, to me, that's a little bit of a head scratcher. I totally do not understand that. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you're watching preseason, you're seeing Patrick Mahomes out there, you're seeing Joe Burrow in the first week, you're seeing Josh Allen, guys that really don't have to play, yet they're out there playing, getting tuned up and ready to go for the regular season. You can have these combined practices. I know you're putting in a new offense, but even in the preseason, to get out there and actually get game experience, just to feel that, hey, now this is live. I'm going to get hit. I have to get the ball out on time. You have a new coach communicating to you through the helmet, just relaying plays and how all the game day operations go, especially with a new head coach, with a new offense. For them not to put Bryce Young out there in a preseason, I just don't understand what the reasoning is. They say that he's ready to go, but out of any of these young guys, we saw Will Levis play in the preseason. Any of these young guys, we C.J. Stroud played this preseason. Why wouldn't Bryce Young play? And he may be the one that needs it the most.
And Rick, you actually asked Bryce about this at the combine when he didn't take part in the drills in the combine, and you said this. I've heard you say this probably 4 million times. If I roll the ball out, I want to see if you want to compete. Now, Bryce may want to play, so it's not his call, but at the end of the day,
right,
the points are the reps and getting better. All right, so that's a look back. Let's take a look forward here. Let's look at the rankings, how we had these guys ranked. Week 2 of the preseason, the rookie class. Number 1, no surprise, Caleb Williams. We don't have to spend a lot of time on Caleb because I want to get to Bo Nix. But started slow. They went 3 and out on the first 3 series. And then Caleb said, oh, I forgot who I am. Let me take over and start slinging it. And Rick, we talked this to death last fall. The off-platform plays, the arm strength, the ability to avoid pressure, all those things add up. And he's doing it now. And again, it's only preseason without the concerns with the turnovers, which is what we saw last year. Do you feel better, worse, the same about Caleb and what we've seen in 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, I think the arrow's going up on him. And I think because I believe that was the first game he played actually at home in front of the Chicago fan base. So I imagine the nerves were a little jumpy at the beginning of the game. But once he got in rhythm and he figured out, hey, this is just ball, something I've done my whole life. Let me go out and do what I do. And then all of a sudden you see the roll to the left and the incredible cross body throw down the field to Roma Dunze. When he rolled to the right, and even though Dunze was out of back of the end zone, but how he made that linebacker freeze. He just like looked like a deer in headlights and rolled around him, made that throw, the scramble, going to the right, then to the left, and then walking into the end zone. He has, out of any of these guys, and I think all these rookies have played very well in the preseason, better than any rookie class I can remember playing so well in the preseason. But he just has a unique ability to make off-schedule type throws. Now, first week of the season, I imagine whatever defensive coordinator is going to face him, they're going to want to keep him in the pocket and make him become a pocket passer, because if you don't, this guy is going to light it up the scoreboard by his ability to make all these off-schedule and unique plays that a lot of quarterbacks, except maybe a Patrick Mahomes, can't make that Caleb can.
And a Spencer Rattler, but that's okay. I want to ask you quickly on the Roma Dunze, almost touchdown in the back of the end zone. And this is a quick answer from you, Rick. As general manager, are you marching down to the field and telling the grounds crew to paint in the end line? Because I thought maybe that Rome got confused about the end line.
Just put your feet in bounds. I don't care. I mean, it's not that hard, right? There's a white line. Both feet in pro have to be in bounds. Figure it out.
All right. We're not going to overthink that one. All right. Let's talk about Bo Nix. Speaking of overthinking things. And look, you made a good point. All these quarterbacks are playing above the line and at the level where they should almost all be starters. Drake Maye is a conversation we can have. But in terms of Bo Nix being 2 on this list, I had him last on my personal rankings among all the quarterbacks, even though I thought he played at a high level. But in terms of pushing the ball down the field, he had the fewest air yards of any of the quarterbacks we talked about here. So I thought he did a lot of checkdowns. He had a lot of simple throws down the field. Why is he number 2 on your list?
Because I thought this week he was more aggressive, even though there wasn't as many as some of the other quarterbacks. He was pushing the ball down the field more than he did in the first game. Now, he doesn't call the plays. Sean Payton's calling the plays, but when he had the opportunity to push it down the field, he did. And I thought he was accurate and on time with the ball when he did push it downfield. He is a very good fit, and we called it Sean Payton's arrogant pick that he's going to make Bo Nix be the next Drew Brees. And right now, it looks like he may be, with his accuracy, how he's manipulating in the pocket. He looks calm and poised. He looks like he understands the scheme. And his accuracy is as good as anyone else that we talked about in this draft class. Yep. So I was when you watched it, Ryan, and I'm just sitting there, this looks easy right now. And I know it's going to change in the preseason, but I'm not gasping for air. It's painful to watch. It's actually a very smooth operation. Now, if we want to talk about your Pittsburgh Steelers, I know that's for another segment. We're not going to talk about that today. But Bo Nix makes this offense go, and he looks very smooth doing it.
Yeah, you're not going to get any pushback. And just because I had him ranked 4th on my list doesn't mean he didn't play well. I thought he did. And he and Jaden Daniels had similar type games in that they weren't asked to do a lot, and they made very few mistakes. That said, you had Jaden Daniels ahead of Drake Maye, and I was actually really surprised at how much they let Drake Maye do and how well he did it, even though some of his receivers refused to catch passes. So explain to me why you had Jaden, who had a nice afternoon, above Drake Maye.
Because I'm being influenced by what I saw in the Commanders and Dolphins combined practice. So I saw him operate in the red zone, and he threw 5 touchdowns against a pretty good Miami defense against their number ones. And his fluidity in the pocket, his athleticism, the way the ball comes out of his hands, it's like silky smooth. And the velocity he puts on the ball, I thought I saw it watching tape, but when you actually see it live, and we saw some of that, Ryan, when we were down there at their pro day last spring at LSU, this kid's going to be special. And everything, I'm combining what I've seen in the preseason. I actually had dinner with some of the Commanders' front office the night before, talked to them about how Jaden's progressing. And the other thing was, I think that if he continues to go the way he goes, and with Cliff Kingsbury lets him off the leash and let him start running and doing the things, that he's going to be the lead candidate for me. This is a bold prediction as Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, I'm going to follow up and ask you, can you imagine?
And you can keep him fourth on your list. And go ahead, keep him fourth on your list. That's fine. I'll sleep fine tonight.
Well, I'm gonna call you out right here. Can you imagine in any world where someone would not have Jaden Daniels as their quarterback 2 heading into the draft?
Yeah, no, not at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. And by the way, we did the LSU Pro Day right before the UNC Pro Day, and you had said Jaden was number 2, but you wanted to see Drake. So maybe we should have the LSU Pro Day last, and we would have all been on the same page. But to your point, great job by everybody.